Who Framed Roger Rabbit on Nintendo? Now this is a game I never imagined finishing. This and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on NES were the two games from my childhood that I could never get through. I guess you could call Roger Rabbit my own personal Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And do you see this little rainbow symbol on the cartridge? That should be everything you need to know about what's coming. We'll talk about TMNT in our next review, but first, why did I hate this game so much as a kid? Well, for one, this is one of maybe 20 NES games that I owned. Most of these games, such as like Zelda and Mario 3, I played so much that I got bored of them. So what do you do after that? Well, you try to beat one of those lesser games that you have, and this was the lesser game that I hated the most. The biggest problem I had with this game is that I had absolutely no idea what the hell to do, and unless you have the instruction manual, you'd probably never figure it out. The controls were messy, and the music made my blood boil. To this day, I can't stand it. Normally I intend to crack out these AVGN reviews pretty quick, but just the thought of revisiting this game was revolting and it made me physically ill. So what did AVGN have to say about the game? Well, honestly, not a whole lot. He comments about some of the more confusing aspects of the game and makes some offhand remarks. Not much else is said in his later revisited episode, other than the fact that the phone number listed in the game now leads to a sex hotline. I wonder if that's still the case. Now when doing these reviews, I like to immerse myself a little bit in the source material. But this time I did it backwards. I played through the game and then rewatched the movie, which I haven't seen since I was a kid. I wanted to get the full experience and see if the game was true to the movie or not, and I'm still really not sure, but we'll get to that as this video goes on. I wasn't going to make the same mistakes that I did as a child, so this time I found the manual of the game and read through it all before going on. The point of this game is to collect 4 pieces of a will and then beat Judge Doom. It sounds simple enough, but you're also supposed to collect items and see what they do with very little information added, and that's it. The game throws you right into Valiant's office, and from there you need to figure out what the hell to do. 90% of this game you're going to be just wandering around checking every single drawer, nook and cranny. This is an open world sort of game where you can basically go anywhere you want from the beginning. When you walk into a building, you can ask the people running around for help, and they'll let you know if that building contains any items to collect. Unfortunately, most of the items are completely worthless, outside of like the whistle, dynamite, flashlights, spring shoes, and the baseball. Some of the items such as the cheese and rattle let you pass some of the obstacles in your way later on. Other than that, your main mission is to search around high and low for these pieces of the will, and to keep Roger Rabbit alive. As you've probably noticed, he's just kinda hanging around with you from the start, but he doesn't do anything other than die, which kinda sucks. I get that Valiant was like kind of the main protagonist of the movie, but he's definitely not the most interesting character. Roger can die in all sorts of annoying ways. He can get carried away by birds, bitten by snakes, and mugged to death by the weasels. But once you get the hang of the game, it's not too hard to handle. Selecting items is a total pain in the ass. You have to hold select and then press left or right to find the ones that you want to use. What sucks even worse is when the weasels catch you on the open world and you have to solve a riddle. For some annoying reason, you still have to hold select while navigating through the answers. What the shit is that about? And the game only gives you about 7 real seconds to look through the answers. It's a real pain. The worst part about this game is that you have absolutely no idea where to go until you figure out that Jessica Rabbit can give you tips on where to find the next piece of the will. But in order to get to her, you need to find the passcode, which is placed randomly somewhere in a random building. Once you find that passcode, you need to talk to the gorilla who's doormanning the strip club. And it took me a good while before I realized that this thing you could actually talk to. Like, I thought he was just a graffiti picture on the wall, like, since I was a kid. After that, you need to find a rose to give to Jessica Rabbit, who only then gives you a vague hint on where to go next. Fuck. Long story short, you find the 4 pieces of the will, get your ass over to Toontown by using the dynamite to destroy the tunnel wall, find Judge Doom's hideout, use a baseball to distract the weasels, and then face off against Judge Doom. He's impossible. In the movie, he just sort of kicks Valiant's ass for a bit, turns into a toon, and gets murdered with the dip. Here he has a random pattern, takes like literally 0 damage from anything, and bitch slaps you when you get close to him. For any casual NES player, this is as far as you went before throwing your own controller into the dip and walking away from this awful game. but we're in the year 2020 and speedruns for this game have existed for a long time. What I had to do was copy the method they used to beat Doom, after spending a good amount of time trying to figure it out on my own. The easiest, and I definitely put that in quotations, way to beat him is to perfectly time your punches so that they charge and swing at the same time. It's a rhythm that you need to perfect. If you're lucky, you'll get him close to the wall on the left and hammer his stupid fucking face in for a good solid 20 seconds perfectly until he falls. Oh, you're not done. Now you need to go grab the dip cannon, painstakingly select it, go down to Doom and make sure that you hold the B button while he charges you. Do it any other way and he charges you and you have to do it all over again. Oh, and the ending sucks. So in the end, what do I think about my most hated NES game of all time? Well, it still sucks and it's a boring pile of trash. It's frustrating to find the items you need, it's frustrating to find the pieces of the will, it's frustrating when you have to fight one of these stupid weasels in hand-to-hand combat, it's frustrating to look through every stupid drawer, and it has potentially the most frustrating end boss of any NES game ever made. They try to make Who Framed Roger Rabbit into a detective adventure style game, but it fails on almost every level. But hey, this is a review, so if we step back and we break it down by categories, like the graphics are fine, the music is just one aggravating loop of the end credit music of the movie, the controls aren't good, and the replay value is non-existent. The main component of if I enjoy any game is simply how fun it is, and unfortunately I had zero fun replaying this game. It's not even fun in a so bad it's good kind of way, like Dragon's Lair, it's just boring and uninteresting. I had more fun playing Superman 64, no joke. After playing through the game, I've heard some people say that they liked Roger Rabbit, and I don't know why. Seriously, write why in the comments below, because I want to know your opinion. As for my final grade, this gets a generous 1 out of 5 stars for me. It's just playable enough to be saved from less, but it's a miserable ride until the end, and I recommend avoiding this game at all costs.